So, Victor, I've heard you've already been to a cruise ship. Could you tell me a little bit of that experience?
Yeah, man. We had two experiences actually, both of which unfortunately we didn't know you yet, but it was nice. The first time we went to Argentina, Uruguay, and Ilhabela here in Brazil, in São Paulo. Amazing places, by the way. Yeah, man, it was great. The food is amazing. The people are great. I think that here in South America, I don't know how it was, working, because I saw that I think people were working like double time,
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, for us, being on the cruise itself, it's amazing. There's a lot of activities going on. You meet a lot of new people. We had the experience that time of speaking a lot in English, which I was surprised, because we met like people from Africa, people from Sweden, people from a lot of places around there, Malaysians, and it was really fun.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, for sure. There's people from everywhere, right?
Yeah. But what about for you, man? Because, going there to have fun is one thing. Going there to work, how's that?
Yeah, for sure. It's totally different, yeah. I'll start with the food, okay? Because, the food is already really different. I had the opportunity to eat the food of the passengers, passengers' food. But it's different, Passengers have, all those different types of food. Now, we just have like 3, different types of
really?
meat. Yeah.
No croissants, no maple syrup, nothing?
Yeah, we do have that, but it's only some days, So
okay.
like we have breakfast and we have some croissants, we have a little bit of ham, cheese, cereal, something normal. Like the breakfast was amazing, because here in Brazil, I'm used to eating just bread.
Yeah.
But yeah, the breakfast was perfect. I ate a lot. It wasn't like the passengers, but still, it was really good, because free food, not free food, but food that we could eat, like everything, it's all you can eat.
Hey man, speaking of food, because if a passenger has food poisoning, you just miss out on a day. But what happens if, a crew member, like, someone who's working has food poisoning? What do you guys do? Like, do you get paid? What goes on?
Yeah, man, we actually don't work by hour. We work by contract. Independent of what happens, if we work more or less, we're going to get the same.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, when someone gets food poisoning, then it's a problem, because usually more people will get food poisoning, because everyone eats kind of the same food. We kind of separate, so like our food is different from the officers that are the people who are like captains and different things, So, but still, if someone does have that, we have our medical center. We can just go there and it's all fine. We don't have to work while we're sick. It's fine, it's good. But we are all paid. Everything's normal. It's not like we don't get extra paid when we work more, and we don't get less paid if we don't work.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Mm-hmm. And also, one thing that is totally different, like the public spaces, So,
really?
Yeah, for example, you guys have a total, you guys have discos, amazing discos. It's really
There's
good.
a lot of like different bars and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. We have like one bar, the crew bar. It's a place where everyone smokes, So imagine you're in a closed place, everyone smokes. It's not so good. But it's a crew bar, everyone like together, maybe with karaoke, maybe with just a DJ. I think it's like once every 15 days we have a party. But I had the opportunity to go to the passengers party as well, because I worked with people, so I kind of have some perks, So going to parties was something normal for me.
Yeah. What did you do, man? You were paid to go to parties? What the
yes,
hell?
yes, actually, yeah. I was the organizer, actually. I was an entertainer,
Nice.
So my job was to organize parties, organize games with adults, of course, because usually here in Brazil, what we see is our entertainers for teens or for kids, So on a cruise ship, we have a lot of adult activities. So we separate, teens and children and adults. So I work with adults. So I was at parties, dancing with the old ladies, with everyone. It was really nice. And also games, So
Nice.
Basketball, soccer, ping pong, everything, tennis, everything that we had on board, we were the ones who organized it. So we just separated in our team, and it was something we did.
Nice. Wow, that's amazing, man. So let's rewind a little bit. So what happened? How did you end up on a cruise ship, working on a cruise ship? And how did you apply? How did you see this position? Was it worth it? Sorry, too many questions, but tell us a little bit how it got started.
Yeah, for sure. No, dude, it was out of nowhere. I just saw an ad on Facebook that they needed people who spoke Portuguese and English to work at a cruise ship. And then I started getting interested.
Simple as that?
Simple as that. And then I found the entertainer job that I fell in love with. You know, that was something that...
Of course, yeah. If you guys know Iory, then you know he was like built for this.
So I was like, oh yeah, let's dance, you know, get paid to dance and parties. Of course, it's a hard job, you know, 12 hours per day, like every day, but still, it was something that I love doing. So I applied to all of the companies I knew, to all of the agencies I knew. And only one company got me the opportunity to get an interview. It worked out, thank God, you know. So I had the opportunity, the experience of being there for 2 months. But everything in English, you know. The company was the only one who accepted me. So I just sent my resume, you know, and they scheduled an interview with me, and everything worked out.
Yeah. So another thing, Iory, like for people that are listening to us and hearing this podcast, like what level of English would you say like you need? Because obviously we had the experience of living abroad and everything, but do you have to be like fluent, or do you just like need to show more confidence? What would you say?
I would say that it depends, because the job I had was definitely completely fluent. You had to be fluent because my job was working with people. So my whole life, my whole job was working with people, talking to people. So I had to be completely fluent. But for example, other positions don't need necessarily to be completely fluent. You can only be confident. But of course, you have to know a little bit of English, because you're working with a lot of nationalities. Not only the passengers, but the people who work there are from different places of the world. So they all communicate in English, you know. So for example, even if you're gonna clean rooms, you're gonna have to know a little bit of English, so you know what your boss is telling you. So your boss is telling you, you have to clean this room correctly. You're gonna be like, okay, what's happening? You know, so have to know a little bit of English at least, you know. But some specific jobs where you work with people, then you have to be completely fluent, or else they don't accept you. And that is the main point, because we have a lot of different things. We need experience, we need languages, we need contacts. But the main thing, the most important thing, is the language, because if you don't have it, then you can't even talk to your supervisor.
Yeah, man. That speaking of that, it was really nice because we found a really nice lounge there. You know, it was the cigar lounge, just because it was like the most silent place on the ship. You know, you worked on it. You know how it is, and we met a guy which we believe was from South Africa, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about that, why we believe he was from South Africa. So, even though B and I speak fluently, we're on the ship and we're, meeting a lot of people, and we met this guy. His name was Sergio. It's like impossible to remember to forget his name, because, it was just amazing, the experience that we had with him. And it was really interesting to understand that, even though he was telling us a little bit about his past, he comes from he went through a lot of hardships, especially financially. He was working on the cruise because he wanted to, send money back to his kids, his ex-wife, and a bunch of that, And it was funny because, Sergio, we understood perfectly what he spoke. And he spoke English, French, an African dialect, one or two, to be honest, I don't remember. And he spoke one more language that I can't remember, so that was really, really interesting. But, he was just in contact with different languages the whole time. Of course, he carried an accent. That's why we believe he was from South Africa, because he said, the place, and we're like, where are you from? And he said it, and then I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then I'm like, and then Bia was like, what did he say? I'm like, I don't know. Your turn. You ask him. So then goes Bia. Hey, so where did you say you're from again? I didn't hear you. Oh, I'm from blah, blah, blah. And then Bia, where's he from? Oh, he's from blah, blah, blah. So in the end, we just said, oh, you know what? He's from South Africa. He had told us an experience that he had been to South Africa and everything. So we said, okay, Sergio's from South Africa.
South Africa. It's easier, right?
Yeah. And that's the interesting thing. I'm always telling people that, of course, Sergio mispronounced a couple of words. He ended up confusing one with the other, but man, he communicates efficiently. That's what being fluent is. You don't have to be accurate. Accuracy and fluency is something that's completely different. And again, this is where confidence comes in, because when you start saying that you can pass your message down to me, to you, to Fernando, to Bia, to Lucas, whoever it is that you're speaking with, and you see that the person is comprehending what you're saying, dude. You don't have to do anything else. That's it, So for me as a passenger, it was amazing, to be in contact with different cultures again. And it's really interesting how cosmopolitan it is, right? It's like a mini world on there. You have like people from all over the world, and you know, everyone with one objective, which is, you know, having this opportunity to some of them to travel the world. Interesting thing, we on the first cruise that we went on, we met a friend of mine from high school, and man, when he like we got back from Argentina, it was really, really hot, and then this guy's like staring at me, like, you know, just point blank. I'm like, dude, what the hell? And then Bia's like, hey, this guy's looking at you. I'm like, yeah, I know, but where are my glasses? And then after like, you know, 5 seconds, and you know how it is when people are getting back from you know, from land, let's put it that way. Like, it's totally full, and nobody wants to use the elevators. You know, Brazilians love the elevators, even though it's like totally crowded. And this guy's like just staring at me. And then I looked back and I was like, come on. You know, and he was wearing like, you know, white clothes, and, you know, he was dressed like a chef. And then, you know, we got closer, we talked, because, you know, I should be using glasses, but I'm not. And it was Theo, my friend from high school, you know. So in his case, it was really interesting because he was studying, you know, to be a chef. He was studying a lot of stuff in gastronomy. So it was his opportunity to, you know, get to know the world, to get to know different culinary, different foods, different plates, dishes, you know, everything. And, you know, it was really nice to have experience with someone that really lived, you know, how it is, because we can talk about that in a future class. I'm sure that there's a lot of problems, a lot of conflicts on it as well, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, but as you said, man, you just have to be confident, you know? Some jobs require more experience level of English, but some don't. So if you just have the confidence of speaking and you understand a little bit of what people are talking about, you got it. So you can get to know the world and even make it better. You know,
yeah, exactly.